that. I'm actually speechless. I've been going around the country, I've been meeting people, seeing institutions, and as Minister for Industry, also engaging a lot with startups across the country. But truly been an amazing visit to your campus. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, Director. Thank you. And thank you for all the affection all of you shared with me, you bestowed on me as you showed me your wonderful achievements. It's amazing where the potentials lie, and it's sad that we've lost so many opportunities over the years. It's not as if we Indians didn't have all these capabilities. We have the same DNA, we have the same set of brothers and sisters, we've come down generations. They report that at one point of time we had 25% of the world's GDP coming out of India. My own assessment is, somewhere along the line, this country and its people, I'm so sorry, got complacent. I don't know when that happened. Was it when the kings ruled over us? Was it when the Mughals took over the country? Or was it when the British came and enslaved us? Of course, I cannot agree with the supposedly Indian origin lady in UK who has tried to make a virtue of colonial rule in India. I've never seen something as shameful as that in my life. Somebody from India trying to suggest that what they did to our country was good for it. And then 75 years into independence, as we celebrate Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, you hold the key to the change in mindset, the little bit of extra between ordinary and extraordinary. And thank you very much for all that each one of you is doing for this country. Truly, truly, I speak as a grateful citizen of India for the leadership that all of you are providing as we power our way into Azadi Ka Amrit Kal, the next 25 years, which are going to define where this country goes, where 130, 140 crore Indians will be, the future of our children, our families, and this great nation of ours. Today, earlier in the day, while addressing exporters, I've thrown a proposition at them. I'm not throwing this proposition at you because you are an inspiration. So I don't really need to ask you a question when I'm going to rhetorically give you a point of view. But why I'm just saying it, I had earlier during the day remembered it, and somebody was there accompanying us from amongst you. I said, please remind me, I want to suggest a name for your place, for this truly amazing, outstanding campus, for this, if you may permit me, I'd call it a piece of art. Because science alone cannot define what I've just seen today. Science is an enabler. The art is in your mind, who are creating all these very elementary, very simple at times, solutions to day-to-day problems of all of us. I think about 4-5 days back, what do you call it, maybe only 2 days back for us. Life is just a journey from one engagement to the other. I think only yesterday probably, not even 2 days back, I was addressing the patent office, the IP office. They had their annual day or something probably. Yesterday, Saturday, today Sunday. Kal ki baat hai. I'm losing track because in the course of the day yesterday, I did political speeches, I talked to the startups, I reported back to the Prime Minister about the Gujarat election, what I had experienced the previous day. I gave awards on Vedic studies to institutions, teachers and students who continue to keep our heritage alive and continue to teach Vedic studies. I inaugurated an art exhibition. So you'll pardon me if I'm losing track of time. I hope I don't lose my brain कि मुझे आपके पास आना पड़े कोई solution निकालने के लिए. But truly, while speaking at the patent office function, I said innovation to me, and I'm no great engineer. I've been deprived of education at IIT Madras, so I was not very welcome when I went to Silicon Valley. I didn't have the calling card which said IIT Madras, and chartered accountants or law graduates are passing. No value. In Silicon Valley, otherwise I'm not that. You guys will have to come back to me or my ilk for valuation, for raising funds. So please don't write us off already. But I said to my simple mind, what I can understand you guys are doing is basically keeping your eyes open, watching what's happening. Some of you may be noticing I have a terrible throat. Somebody might already be thinking, what can we do to get this guy's throat working? Somebody here may have been thinking that now this coffee is getting cold. We know there is a thermos, but thermos kills the taste of coffee. So one of those kids who have presented our technology on cold storage to us will probably also show us what he could have done with keeping this coffee fresh and hot. And that's what innovation is all about. Elementary, simple thinking gets you solutions to day-to-day problems of life. It could be business problems. It could be problems of day-to-day living. It could be the problem of poverty. It could be the problem of remote areas. For example, our drones were used to carry vaccines to the top of mountains, 6,000, 7,000 feet up, where there was no road access. The drones took the vaccine there. The ASHA worker had already been sent down for training. Instead of bringing a whole village down, the vaccine went by drone. The ASHA worker administered the vaccine, and lo and behold, we have 200 crore vaccines given in this country. The length and breadth of India. Vaccines made in India, developed in India, because we have the skill sets which each one of you have displayed to me also. Elementary thinking to the day-to-day problems will give us the innovation that this country needs, that the world is looking for. And therefore, what I was trying to suggest was, have you heard of the phrase big, hairy, audacious goals? You have big, hairy, B-H, audacious, A-G, goals. Should we as a country not have big, hairy, audacious goals? What do the IIT Madras people feel? Does this nation need to have bold vision,
Of course.
big ambition?
Yes.
मुझे लगा नहीं बच्चों में आवाज नहीं है या मेरे में इससे पॉलिटिकल रैली आई वुड हैव सेड भाई मोदी जी तक आवाज पहुंचनी चाहिए. So you all agree that we should have big, hairy, audacious goals, okay? I'm assuming. Now, how do you pronounce it in Hindi? Now, let me suggest ways to say bhag. For those of you who understand Hindi, if you're not able to, maybe somebody else will explain it to you. You can say bhag. As you say bhag, milka bhag. You remember the movie? Yes. Milka Singh? Yes. So one is bhag, run. Right? So you have a bhag. Then you have a bhaglo. That is participate. Bhaglo, which all of you are doing. You are participating in this wonderful journey, coming up with solutions that will hold this country in good stead as we work our way towards becoming a developed nation. Then you have another, which says, bhaglo, run away. You know that, right? यार यहाँ पे गरीबी बहुत है, स्मेल कमिंग हियर, भाग लो यहाँ से. तो IIT मद्रास का बच्चा बोलेगा भाग वहां पे जा और भाग ले और उसका सोल्यूशन निकाल. वो कभी भाग नहीं. And to my mind, the fact that each one of you could think out of the box, the fact that I was told probably 90% of the children in this campus are not even IIT engineers in the research part, the one which you are in, right? As he keeps rubbing it into me, the 1.2 million square feet part. By the way, he and I go back 2004, right? So I became a director in State Bank 2004. That's how many years? 18 years. We go back 18 years. We were both on the board of State Bank of India, and I could see the same spark that you are enjoying the fruits of 18 years ago. And that journey, I think, continues relentlessly. Congratulations, Dr. Chunchumala. Really. I asked him how old he is. He said 70. He said, "It's a bit chote. Modi ji is 72." And you know his punishing schedules. During Navratri, he fasts, he doesn't eat anything, he's only on water. And I find him working harder during those 9 days of Navratri. In fact, I asked him on 2nd October when Navratri ke dinon mein, "You're looking younger by the day, what are you doing?" I don't know. I'm on water. But work gives him energy. If he was to sit idle, he would age. And I think that's what we have in Dr. Chunjunwala. Person committed to working overtime, passionate about the work that he's doing for the nation, and drawing satisfaction, drawing happiness from your successes, from all that you are able to achieve. Every one of you who's come out with a new idea, I hope you realize that the joy you have is great, but the joy probably that he gets or Director Saab gets is twice the joy that you have. Because for a parent, the success of his child is all that matters. And for all of us, they are our parents. We don't realize the value of our teachers till we meet them. I personally have my own experience. I never ever could appreciate my school teachers while I was there. Bagawati karte rehta. 10th standard, they wanted to rusticate me because I had done a signature campaign against against a teacher who was trying to teach us history, but I thought she didn't know history. And I ran a signature campaign. My class teacher, Ms. Gemma, never forget her. Took me to task, took me to the principal, and I was sure I'm getting rusticated. But Mark Zuckerberg is also a dropout. Right? These guys do better. Technically, I'm a dropout of Harvard also, in a small way. I started the Owner-President Management Program, the OPM program, in 2013, did one module out of 3. And 14, Mr. Modi inducted me in his government. So I haven't been able to go back. Though they're telling me that to seat you can always come back. But I'd rather be a dropout. I'm not encouraging any of you to be a dropout tonight. But truly, I can only tell you that this will be a grateful nation for all the amazing work that you're doing. And keep at the back of your mind that everything you do, every single step that you take, every single technology that you're producing here, has one big advantage. And that is the 1.3 billion Indians, the world's biggest aspirational population anywhere in the world. And that scale can help you get economies of scale, can power the technologies that you are producing, can economize the output of your work, make it affordable, and then the world is the stage. The world today, you might be reading, I'm doing FTA with UAE, which I've concluded in 88 days, fastest ever FTA ever done in the world. We've done a comprehensive economic partnership with Australia. Some of you still read the papers. I think you all have all gone beyond that now. You might be reading the spat that UK and India somewhat are having on certain issues where they made some very uncharitable and absolutely false comments, sadly made by an Indian only. And yeah, Indian origin, of course. That's correct. I stand correct. That's the good thing of being professors and being in the room. But all of that is because of you. Why is the world wooing us? Why do the 6 GCC Gulf countries, who for the last 10 years, whenever we told them let's do a free trade agreement, they never bothered. For the last 1.5 years, they've been wooing us. Switzerland, I personally talked to my counterpart there 4 times. Just not bothered. Last 2.5 years, he's wooing me. Like some of you might be in your personal lives. Why does today the world want to engage with India? And the first and foremost is our skills, the talent that India has. Without that, probably the rest of the things would have been just statistics. It's the talent that attracts them to India. It's all of you, your work. And since the start of the Startup India mission in 2016, the amazing work that's been happening in the country is now coming to fruition. People are now seeing it, are experiencing it. Lost a couple of years in COVID, otherwise they would have experienced this in 2021 itself. Never too late. There's an idea of time has to come. And the world recognizes that India's time has arrived. The talent and manpower skills that each one of you represents. Second is the demographic dividend. We have the world's youngest population for the next 30 years. The large young population is our strength. Population is not a bane, it's a boon. 3, the market. Is there any other part of the world where there's 1 billion+ people, and as I said, mostly young, who are now connected with the world, who have televisions at home. Television is no more a luxury. Go to any village, go to a slum, you'll find a television in every home. And if at all he doesn't have a TV, he'll suddenly have a smartphone in the home. It's an interconnected world. They are seeing what's available all over the world. Your very own Tamil Murugan, I think, saw on television how to make sanitary pads and became the pad man of India, right? And made affordable sanitary pads. I would call him a brilliant startup entrepreneur. In this interconnected world, show me a place which has 1 billion aspirational, hungry, not hungry as in the stomach, hungry for the good things of life. And then what does that translate into? It translates into huge demand for washing machines, for dishwashers. As more and more of our sisters and daughters come into the workforce, everybody will want a dishwasher in their home. They'll want a washing machine. With sustainability being current coin, all the stuff that I saw today, every one of them had an element of sustainability, energy efficiency, electric mobility. Couple that with the large market, with our manufacturing skills. You bring anything from anywhere in the world, you'll find an engineer who can make it in India. And then with this large market, when you manufacture to scale, you can actually make every product, every one of the products you are engineering here, you are innovating here, affordable not only for India, but for the rest of the world. We have 1 billion people in Africa who are soon going to follow suit. They're going to want all the goodies of life just like India. And to my mind, the time has come that the Americans, the Europeans, they will all also want to engage, particularly with sustainability and with newer technologies. And lo and behold, who can do that at an affordable price? You. Let me tell you about an example. You heard about the construction machinery manufacturer, JCB?
Yeah.
They're a British company. They were working in England. They were exporting their machinery to 10 countries. They couldn't compete in the rest of the market. They came to India some 20 years ago or so. Started manufacturing. I think there are probably half a dozen or a dozen factories in India today. Their new launches are all from India. And they export to over 100 countries from India. Talent, scale, and skill. Unbeatable combination. And Dr. Chujurwala was a part of our team, and I give a lot of credit to him for his own personal role and his guidance and his leadership as he helped me, held my little finger, took my hand and made me make my way through the LED bulb revolution in India. Most of you are young here, you will not recall it, because 7 years is too long in your lives. But way back on 5th January, and I'm saying this only to encourage all of you to think big, the big, hairy, audacious goals. Way back on 5th January 2015, the Honorable Prime Minister launched the world's largest program to convert the lighting systems to LED. We used to use those old incandescent bulbs, 60 watt, 90 watt, 120 watt. You remember all that? I don't think you may even remember some of them. Professors will certainly remember. And the power guzzlers that they were, they hardly lasted 6 months. LED lighting had come in, but it was so expensive that the government used to give a 100 rupee subsidy to make them available for the market at about 550 rupees. In fact, the government used to procure them at 310 rupees plus taxes. And then, of course, the distribution costs and all that. We had a company called Energy Efficiency Services Limited. We would distribute it, give a 100 rupees subsidy, and sell about 6 lakh bulbs in a year. One of the constraints also was the subsidy amount was so small. Everybody kept waiting for the subsidy. हमें subsidy मिलेगी तो LED bulb लगाएं. Chicken and egg story. Nobody ever thought of the benefits of the LED bulb. First step, first of all, difficulty was to convince people it can happen. And I'm sure all of you must be facing similar difficulties. When you go with your idea, there's a disbelief, people are skeptical, all of that. I faced all of that all my life. Great difficulty, got a launch. And you know, the selling point was we are going to stop the subsidies to save the government money. The first file I signed as a part of this program was stop the 100 rupee subsidy. And then after the Honorable Prime Minister launched it, and how did he launch it? He said, what are you doing for the launch? He said, I'll have a board at the top, you maybe unveil it or something. It's so drab. And he's quite innovative in his thinking. He's actually a startup entrepreneur, if you ask me. Because yesterday I had a CSIR meeting. I can keep adding, mera bhi din yaad nahi rehta. I had come back after 3 hours of sleep from Gujarat. Airport पे पहले उनका call लिया to give him my feedback. Then he went to his house for a CSIR meeting. And some of the ideas he gave to the CSIR scientists, the word that Tata Sons chairman used at the end of that interaction was, this man is mind-boggling for Mr. Modi. I'm not exaggerating. If any of you knows Chandra, you can call him up and ask him. He said it was mind-boggling. So Prime Minister said, थोड़ा innovative बनाओ, तो हमने 2-3 गरीब लोगों को बुलाया और उनके पास समय कम था, तो in his office we made him hand over those bulbs to those 2-3 people because it was energy efficiency. It would reduce their power bill. He was still not satisfied. So we were in the basement of his office. So as we were walking up, he saw a small point. You know, these British and all these old buildings, which we have to remove this colonial mindset, of course. They used to have these lights in the passageway also, along the staircase. He saw a bulb and he stopped. He said, get me one of your bulbs. So we got that bulb, he took out that old incandescent bulb and fixed a bulb himself. That became my brand ambassador picture. Prime Minister changing the bulb. And from that day on, we had stakeholder consultations, we would talk to all the states. We got the entire country engaged in it. We calculated the savings. If the country was to use LED lights, the savings was 40,000 crores per year way back in 2015. Today it must be much more. We can save 80 million tons of carbon dioxide. 80 million tons. By replacing all those incandescent lights. So we looked at scale, and I still remember we used to take out tenders for 2 crore bulbs, 1 crore bulb. We would assure payment on the 30th day in the bank account of the suppliers. And if you don't get it, they had my personal mobile number. So they don't have to come to a government office. You know what I'm trying to suggest. Never had to come and do anything to get their payment. And you know what? The third or fourth tender was for 5 crore bulbs. Country used to do 6 lakh bulbs in a year. We changed the scale to 6 lakh bulbs every day. Every single day, 6 lakh bulbs. And Philips, the world's largest company, quoted 38 rupees. 38 rupees for a 12 watt LED bulb, which was equal to a 90 watt incandescent. We added the cost of transport, marketing, tax, everything. became some 80 odd rupees. We added profit for the government company, ESN. From a point of subsidy, that company made hundreds of crores of profit out of that. Without a single rupee of your taxpayer money being spent, it took only 3 years. About 30-35 crore bulbs being sold every year at market value. After the first 30 crore, government got out of it. Then the private sector ran. The bulbs today would be what, 50-60 rupees? About. They last for 5 or 6 years generally, unless your system is so poor. But actually nowadays they're so good, even voltage fluctuation we can handle. And again at that time, what did we do? We gave it to all the electricity companies, distribution companies. Along with the bill, they would give the bulb to the user at 10 rupees, which was the saving in 1 month in each bulb. And over 9 months or 8 months or 12 months, whatever, they would take 10 rupees every month. Gradually it came down to 6 months. Many states started giving it free when they saw the benefit. Many states subsidized it. The government company reduced its profit. And finally, the payback was 3-4 months. And then the savings would go on for years or what I'm trying to say, today if you want an incandescent bulb, you'll have to go to an antique storeroom. You won't get it in a regular shop. I can tell you so many stories about my run-in with the American administration on energy efficiency. They're the most highly inefficient users of electricity in the world. What I'm just trying to say is this is the power of India, which I request you to keep at the back of your mind. This is what is going to power the innovations that each one of you is developing. You have unparalleled opportunities in this great country. And if we are to stay the course, if we follow the 5 commitments that the Prime Minister articulated on 15th August, did you hear the speech, any of you? It's a little early in the morning, so I don't think your IIT kids get up there. The Prime Minister suggested 5 commitments. 5 front. First, India should be a developed country in 2047 when we celebrate 100 years of independence. Second, let's remove every little symbol of colonialism from our lives. Whether it's a law, whether it's our style of working, our style of thinking, get colonial thinking out of our system. It has held us back for far too long. Third, go back to your roots. There's a lot of strength in our roots. I went to Somnath Mandir the other day. They have that compass showing the direction in which there's no piece of land for, I don't know, till the South Pole. Just no land in that whole distance. I don't know how many 100 or 1,000 years ago that was determined. I don't know how. You guys should be able to figure it out. Go back to your roots. There's a lot of strength in our culture, our tradition, our value systems, our family value systems. Our heritage is rich. Fourth, unity. Country has to be united. We all have to be united as one nation. Work as one nation. And fifth, the sense of duty. Let's all of us work with a sense of duty. We owe it to our country. We owe it to all those whose families possibly couldn't board the train and get an opportunity to come to this beautiful campus and this beautiful center. Everybody has not been as privileged as all of you. Still millions of kids out there. We owe it to them. The sense of duty comes out of that. Because he added 2 other elements after the 5 front, which are equally important, friends. First was Nari Shakti. This great strength amongst our women, our sisters, our daughters, which we need to harness, recognize, give them equal opportunity, good education, make them stakeholders along with us. I would urge some of your teams to see if you can integrate more young girls and give them also this flavor of innovation. I see many of you here. We need to see much more by the time I come next time. And the seventh point, the other second point that he said, and I appeal to all of you. हिंदी में बोलते हैं गांठ बांध करके रखो. Just make that the principle of your life. भ्रष्टाचार मुक्त भारत बनाना. Corruption. Raise your voice, become whistleblowers, but don't let anybody do wrong, because when that person is doing wrong, he's hurting this country, he's hurting the development of this country. If I do some wrong, write it to the Prime Minister, but not an anonymous, write with your name and number. I promise you there will be action. If any of my officers does wrong, write it to me. I just 1 week ago filed an FIR. We hired people in contract in government. So my MOS told me that 2 or 3 of the kids working in his team told him that the contractor had taken 25,000 rupees from them. It's probably considered routine कि साल का तुम्हें 3 लाख या 4 लाख तनख्वाह मिलेगी. You pay 25,000 to the contractor. But I couldn't tolerate it, and I am behind my officers. We have filed an FIR. I've informed the Home Minister's office to make sure action is taken. We'll go after that guy. And we'll go after every one of those who's trying to be or has been corrupt. Very often there are these people who try and complain about this government taking action on politicians, taking action on officials. There is no special privileges just because you come from a political family or you have a particular surname. If you've done wrong, you pay for your sins. No privilege for anybody. And zero tolerance for corruption is what we stand for, and what I pray and wish each one of you will stand for. Each one of your technologies. I just said that all those who got a patent, please write in with your experience all the difficulties you got while getting a patent. I'm amending the patent law, making it simpler, moving everything online. But if you give me your inputs, I may be able to do my job better. So let's work with the spirit of partnership. Let's work together. This is only my second visit to IIT Chennai or Madras. But as delightful as my first, I'm truly grateful to you for inviting me. Thank you, Director, for your leadership of this wonderful institution. And thank you, my young friends, for all the powerful energy, for all the innovation, for all the out-of-the-box ideas that each one of you are working on. Thank you for being a part of the growth journey of India. Thank you for caring.
Thank you very much, sir. In our journey to transform Indian Institute of Technology to Institute of Indian Technology. Thank you very much.
Live.